What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. I am here to talk about MLB The Show, as I do on this YouTube channel. It's just been a little while since I've played, because I've been playing the heck out of Spider-Man. My God, what a game that is. But I digress. We are here to talk about baseball. MLB The Show 23. As always, in 10 Minute Mailbag, I have your questions queued up and ready to answer. A lot of ones that kind of provoke some thought. At least one. The question we're going to lead off with is a really interesting idea, and one I can get behind quite a bit. So I'm interested to talk about it with you guys. Fantastic comment. I want all of your opinions on it as well. But as always, if you guys are new here, 10 Minute Mailbag, I take your questions, I answer them in full. It's better than just a YouTube reply. It is a real thought-provoking answer that hopefully gets you guys what you want. So, of course, make sure you comment your question or thought or whatever down below. Like the video, subscribe. As we approach 2,000 subscribers, we'll do a giveaway when we get there. Thank you guys for being here again. Let's get to the video. We're putting 10 minutes on the clock, and we're starting off with some heat. Some heat. Fire. Fuego. Flames. Other words that mean fire. I don't know anymore. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Begin. The first question comes from Anil. Anil, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I apologize if I'm not. Anil would do 10 seasons, shorter seasons, but with a twist. Season 3, 7, and 10 are no set restrictions. I'm going to stop reading the comment there. There's a lot of other good stuff in there, but I really want to focus on that. Anil, that is a fucking brilliant idea. I'm sure you're hardly the first person to come up with this. I didn't come up with this. There are others out there who are smart. I'm clearly not one of them. But think about it. If you make every third season, it would be 3. I would actually do 3, 6, and I guess the last 2. We can play with that. But that means you have to kind of start fresh on season 4. Or set 4, whatever we're calling them. I don't even know anymore. That reinvigorates me for sets and seasons. It gives us time to use the cards we grind for, and then the drop of a new set/season is actually important because you're grinding for cards on your God Squad. You'll have your core cards that you could start your God Squad with. There would have to be more core cards with this, which is what Anil talks about, eventually getting to more core cards. But I think that's a brilliant idea. We talked a lot, or we have talked a lot this year about, even though sets and seasons is supposed to make lineups diverse and fun and interesting, they've been stale. We're on day like 74 of set 4. And I've used this same God Squad lineup, which admittedly I enjoy very much, for it feels like 6 months. And I know that's not true, but it's just what it feels like. If you force me to do a hard restart, I mean, I'm kind of here for it, Anil. When you're right, and I think you're onto something. 10 seasons might be too many. Let's just say it's 9 because there's 9 innings in a baseball game. I never understood why they shied away from doing 9 as a thing, but I'm a huge fan of this idea. A huge fan. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. Nobody responded to Anil's comment. Be nice to him and go tell him he's a genius. But otherwise, let's talk about it here. I think that's such a good idea. I'm open to all sorts of opportunities that come with that, and I'd love to see them do it. SDS, if you're listening, just think about it. Just think about it. Thank you, Anil. Next question. Ian Kennedy. Not the pitcher, I don't think. It's not even a question, it's just a comment. We need Nomar in the show ASAP. I agree. I've long advocated for Nomar Garciaparra. He is that perfect sweet spot era to get more legends into this game. The early 2000s, we need players from all eras, of course, but the early 2000s was such a sweet spot for a lot of people currently playing this game. Nomar Garciaparra played for a handful of teams. His peak seasons were out of this world. He didn't have the longest peak, and injuries kind of derailed his career, but my God, what a player he was. Last year, my hope was that Derek Jeter, Nomar, and A-Rod would all come to the game for 23 and that they would do a triple player cover. Probably turned out that was way too expensive and unrealistic to do. There's also been rumors I've heard lately that A-Rod is under contract with another game currently that hasn't expired yet or something. I don't know. But getting back to the original point. Early 2000s era players, I want them. Aramis Ramirez, I want it. Derek Lee, I want it. Nomar, I want it. Hideki, give it to me. All those guys. All those guys. I named 4. There's 80 more players I could think of if I really wanted to. I'm not going to waste your time with that here. But you talk about a position that doesn't always have like a ton of depth. We'll just talk about primary shortstops right now. Like Ellie De La Cruz, he's your starting shortstop. Jackie, maybe. Corey, maybe. Tatis, maybe. Jeter, like, I don't know. Add more players to the mix. No more me dope. A-Rod me dope. Just make it happen, SDS. Thank you for your comment, Ian Kennedy. I appreciate you. If you're the actual Ian Kennedy, shout out to the former Yankee. Go, Pack, go. We talked about this, or briefly talked about this on Twitch, and thank you for coming over here and leaving the comment. Twitch.tv/kdjTV, by the way. Go, Pack, go asks, do precision rings help with hitting? For me, they do. It's entirely a personal preference. This is what I use. This is my setup. Wired controller. Always better, especially on PlayStation, for response time. Xbox, wired is also better, but Xbox is just a better response time in general. It's a very unfortunate circumstance, but nothing the PlayStation 5 can currently control. But this is my current setup. I use a Galaxy, not touching it, there it is. The Galaxy thumbstick thingy, Control Freak, that's what it's called, not sponsored. I use the mid-rise Galaxy. They make a high and mid. I like the mid for my hitting. As you can see, nothing on the pitching. And what makes the difference for me is this green, it's hard to see. This green precision ring. Green is the weakest resistance. I also shave it down a little bit at the bottom because I find it's harder to play defense with a full precision ring that's not shaved down. I'm just looking for like a very little bit of resistance that the current analog stick cannot offer me. I guess in theory, if you get the expensive Pro controller, whatever the heck it's called, the DualSense Edge, that's what it's called. If you have a DualSense Edge, I guess technically you can play with the resistance on that analog stick, but your boy doesn't have money like that. I'm not spending $200 on a controller, so I use a precision ring. Excuse me. It's like, I don't know. The pack the pack comes with 2 of each resistance. There's 3 resistances, so 6 precision rings. It's like $15 maybe. Again, not a sponsor. I'm not out here just trying to give Control Freak business. You could probably buy a similar product from other places if you wanted to, but I think they work. As long as you don't take them on and off a ton, they last. Like, they don't really wear down a ton. What it helps me with is being able to not slam. I would still slam here and there because I'm an idiot, but it's easier to be, you guessed it, precise, precision. You can get to the places you need to get to, and you don't over-exert yourself. Like, you stay within the zone better because you're not just flying all over. I think the PCI should have built-in resistance in the game anyway. You should be able to change how quickly it moves. That's a hot take, potentially, but I would like that quite a bit. I'd rather it move less than move more. But yes, use precision rings if you're struggling at the plate. It's not as if it's a big monetary investment. Like I said, $15. I think you can even get them on Amazon, so if you have Prime, you don't have to pay for shipping. Just go get them. Pack, thank you as always for enjoying the content. Last question comes from Scott. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's long, but basically in the NHL games, in EA, whatever the hell it's called, in HUT, there's different sorts of like chemistry things that you can activate that give your team different boosts, and maybe it would boost lineup construction and MLB The Show if they did the same thing. Yes and no. I want to shy away from too many random-ass boosts. Like, captain boosts are fine to some extent. I was not 100% for their inclusion in the beginning. They weren't really used a ton this year, so I guess I don't really have much of an opinion on them anymore. Manager boosts, a lot of people talk about. I don't want that. That's just more unreasonable boosts to stack onto things. Plus, I don't think it'll ever happen because SDS would have to pay for the rights of managers to use them. What you're talking about might work in like very, very specific instances. The two things that come to mind that I think are kind of cool. If you're using double play partners, middle infield double play partners from the same team, maybe they get a fielding boost from that chemistry. Like if you were using Derek Jeter and Robinson Cano from the Yankees, if they're both Yankees cards. That's kind of cool. They were a pretty cool double play tandem. Maybe there's a pitcher and catcher battery boost that improves, I don't know, the throwing strength of the catcher and the pitching clutch of the pitcher. Like Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina, who I know we don't have in this year's game. I understand. Whatever. I think those type of things might be kind of neat. I don't think, like, you could wholesale it, like, oh, we're using an all Yankees outfield, they get chemistry boosts. There's not like a specific chemistry instance that exists there. But when we talk about really granular things like double play partners, pitcher catcher, that's really all I've got, honestly. When we talk about things like that's kind of interesting. That's kind of neat. I'm here for that if done the right way. I guess it would be like an equipable item or an equipable skill or ability. I think Madden has stuff like that. Like you can turn your receivers into different types of receivers based on whatever you've given them. Maybe? I don't know. That will do it for this 10-minute mailbag. So much to talk about based off that first question alone. Anil, again, great job. I am so intrigued by the idea of every third season giving an open field to play with and then removing all those cards for a little while so you have to start fresh. I think it's kind of cool. People talk about it all the time. I grind for these things, don't take them away from me. That simply doesn't bother me. Maybe that's just the way I play. Everybody plays differently. I'm not critiquing you or forming an opinion on you if that's how you feel. I'm just saying, for me, it doesn't bother me at all. So I'm going to grind this game regardless of whatever cards I can use, I can use. It's you know, no skin off my back, so they say. Do they say that? But that'll do it, everybody. Thank you guys for making it to the end. I appreciate you. As always, leave your questions down below, and we'll get to them next week. Adios.